So many kids who are off the derech. There are brothers and sisters, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, aunts, uncles, cousins, and many of them say, I don't want to get involved. I want to stay away. They think that this is contagious, and they're worried about their children. They're worried about their children being affected. I don't want them to know that you can go off the derech. That's what I've heard. Or I don't want them to see that Aunt Bracha is all of a sudden not sneistic. I don't want to have to explain things to them, all that kind of stuff. There's something we have to learn from the Torah, and I'm not saying this to be mean or to put pressure, but these are frum people, and it's a shame for them to live like this and not understand, God forbid, Rachmana litzlan, the ramifications of their actions. Because we have an achrayus, we have a responsibility towards family, but there's ramifications if we ignore. Shmuel Kamenetsky Shlita, my Rosh Hashiva, said, ignoring your family members who are struggling with Yiddishkeit or struggling with anxiety, depression, mental health issues is a lav in the Torah. It's against our religion. So listen to this. You can't ignore this. Yaakov Avinu had a brother named Esav. Esav was very, very bad. He's not even considered a Jew. None of our kids are Esav. None of our kids are doing the things that Esav did. And after Matan Torah, every kid of ours is a Jew, was by Matan Torah, has a neshama, is a chelik l'kam yimal, mamish. It's a totally separate situation. But even in Esav, Yaakov Avinu made a mistake. Yaakov Avinu was not makar of his brother. Because Yaakov Avinu was not makar of his brother, he was sitting and learning Torah. And look at the devastation that the Torah tells us happened to him because he ignored his brother Esav. Very, very scary. Medrash Tanchuma says, the Sfas Emes brings it down in Tafresh Lamed Daled. Yaakov Avinu was sitting and learning next to his home. He had a father and a mother, Yitzchak and Rivka. Can you imagine what life was like? All he did, sat and learned. No bigger masmid in the world. He just sat and learned. He was Yaakov Avinu. All of a sudden, he has to run away from home. Pick up, take your stuff, and run. Nothing. You and your money. And then shortly after, Eliphaz comes, steals all his money. Now, the biggest, richest kid, he was a rich kid. Avraham Avinu was rich. Yitzchak was rich. All of a sudden, his credit cards are not working. He has no money, and he's alone. There's nobody in the world that he has. And he goes through the hardest life, depression. I'm not saying he was depressed. I would be depressed. He went through a depressing, horrible, horrific, lonely life for 20 years. Why? 20 years of tranquility, sitting in the Beis Medrash, going home for breakfast, lunch, and supper, and Shabbos meals with your father and your mother, and all of that, being in that house. And instead, he's going with his camel and his briefcase, if he had any, little knapsack, all alone. Why? Says the Medrash, he had a din like somebody who kills someone by accident. So he has to go into exile. Who did he kill? It was considered a sin, listen to these words, that Esav was pushed away through him. He should have spent his life's mission, his focus should have been to bring Esav back in. If he didn't think he's Mr. Esha Torah, he didn't think, I'm not Chabad, so he didn't think that he could be Makar of Esav, and therefore, instead of having a din, a ruling, that he is a murderer b'mezid, he's considered only like he's a murderer b'shaygig. Our greatest Yaakov Avinu, mitasai shlema, the greatest Yaakov Avinu, and he's considered, he has blood on his hands, and the punishment is exile. 20 years of exile. His whole life gets messed up for 20 years. And it's even worse. He got punished because he didn't have 20 years of kibbud ava aim with Yitzchak and Rivka. Do you know what his punishment was? Yosef got taken away from him. And he lost his son. Yaakov had 12 children. He loved all of them. But he had a special relationship with Yosef. Yosef was supposed to be the next Rebbe. Yosef was the one he taught everything to. Yosef was his heart. And as a punishment for not being able to be mechabed and to honor and respect and behave with Yitzchak and Rivka, on the other side he gets it again. 20 years of being separated from Yosef. Horrible. Why? Because he was supposed to realize, but what about my brother? I have to be makar of my brother. Life cannot just be about me and my family and building my life. I have to take care of bringing in my brother, and I can. And I can tell you that everybody can. We've proven it. You don't need great skill. You don't need to be an orator. You don't need to be Eshet Torah or Project Inspire or Chabad or anything, because there's nothing to do with that. You need to show acceptance and love, and everybody can be a part of being Mekarev their brother and their sister.